Hello and welcome to the third episode of A Window into Northern Ghana here on Activity TV. My name is Rahama Isa, your host. I guess today is Hajia Hafsa Sumani, one of the role models and well celebrated women in Northern Ghana because of her immense contribution to the development of the region through her role as the head of programs, policy and campaigns at NORSAC and also the co-founder of NORSAC. It is an honor to have you, such an exquisite personality, joining us today in this episode of A Window to Northern Ghana. Hajia Hafsa Sumani. Good morning.
Good morning, and thank you for giving me this opportunity to appear on your TV.
And thank you so much for accepting to do this. Viewers, like we all know, this is a platform where we bring you the right people, especially people who are doing extremely well in all diverse fields here in the northern region to help share their stories to enable young people be able to explore and get to learn so much from the stories to help them in their journeys, also becoming people like them and even people more. So today our conversation is going to be with Hajia Hafsa Sumani, Head of Programs, Policy and Campaigns at NORSAC, and also co-founder of NORSAC, who will be showing or unveiling a lot of things, especially from this title. But first of all, mommy, I call her mommy. So mommy, good, like I said, good afternoon again. But Hajia Hafsa Sumani, what I know is what I mentioned: head of programs, policy and campaigns at NORSAC, and also the co-founder. Who will you? How will you describe yourself to myself and viewers out there? Who is Hajia Hafsa Sumani?
Well, I don't know why I don't even like the title Hajia, but well, I think Hafsa is a lady, a very natural person who see every woman as a door to development. And for me, growing up as a young lady or as a young girl, I have always felt that women should just be given the chance to do whatever they think they can do to improve on their lives.
Women as the door to development. I'm sure a lot of people are thinking about it.
Yeah.
Can you throw more light on that first?
Well, I think that I'm not the first person to say this. We already have seen one of our big men, our leaders, who said that if you give education to a woman, you give education to
A whole nation.
a whole nation. So for me, that statement inspired me a lot. And I asked myself the question, how can this happen? And growing up, I think I have seen that. I have seen houses where you have educated women actually making it well for their children. And that is what I also stepped on. And I felt that we need to empower more women. We need to give education to more women. And that would actually give us what we want to actually get in a lot of people or our children get there.
Interesting. Is that the reason the path to working with NORSAC and championing issues of women and girls?
So based on these, when I was a child, I joined the Ghana Red Cross Society.
Okay.
And that is where I got the feel of doing voluntary work. And volunteering from that level inspired me a lot to do a lot more within my house and also within the community I was living in. So way back 1990 when I joined Ghana Red Cross, I was in class 6.
1990.
Yeah. I was in class 6 and actually I also had a lot of freedom around me because my auntie could just say, you can go for a meeting, and our house and the meeting place was not too far actually.
You lived with an auntie. Mommy, let me take you still on that, but I want us to look at your childhood. How was it? Were you born in Tamale?
Okay,
I've heard
so
people say you're from Nalerigu. How true is that? Where did you
oh,
actually
I'm
meet the
not from
child?
Nalerugu. Okay, so I think my parents are from Wulensi and Bimbila. My father
Okay.
is from Wulensi, and my mom is from Bimbila.
Okay.
But we were all born. My father has 20 children, or he had 20 children. And
20 children.
yes, and we were all born in the western north of Ghana. So specifically, I was born in Sefwi, Asawenso. And in fact, my siblings were born in different towns because my father was working with a timber company as a forest, as the manager, that is a forest manager. And so he was inspecting the trees that were cut at that time. And he was always transferred from places to place. So almost all the area in Western region, all the districts and towns in Western region, we have roamed. But for me, I was fortunate to have my auntie pick me from the Western region to Tamale.
So the rest of the children are in the Western
Yeah,
region.
they were. So we still have some of our siblings. And we have, my siblings are cross-cutting. We have some who are, whose mothers are Ashantis, some are Seshi. Seshi is a language, in the Western North region. And so we kind of had this intercultural life in our home. But well, for me, I left them very early. When I was 7 years, my auntie picked me to the north. And so I'm so grateful to Hajia Mariam and Alhaji Fusini, who have actually brought me up to this level. My auntie currently is the proprietress of Mariam International.
Okay.
Yes, that's my auntie. So I grew up with them. And of course, I got a lot of inspiration from her and a teacher then, and who also was very positive and open-minded. She wasn't very restrictive. And so that gave me the chance to join the Ghana Red Cross.
Okay.
And I was always going for
And
meetings.
the Ghana Red Cross Society was the starting point to.
I'm telling
where
you.
you
And
are.
I will tell you that the Ghana Red Cross then was different from the Ghana Red Cross now. The Ghana Red Cross then was more of voluntary spirit from people. And so you could see people where our children wanted to be part of it. Unlike now, it's like we are begging people to come into join the Red Cross. So that was how the Ghana Red Cross was. So going for meetings at 3 o'clock and closing at 5. You can imagine those times where the time that parents would need you to cook and all that. But my auntie was very open. Of course, it wasn't every day. It was every Thursday.
Okay, once.
So once in a week, sometimes twice, Tuesdays and Thursdays. But these were days that I felt I learned a lot. You'd go, you learn a lot around the principles of Red Cross. You learn the reasons why you should volunteer. You learn a lot more around first aid, and you will do a lot of sanitation programs within your meeting and also going. And so when I left, I mean, I haven't left Red Cross, but growing up, I became a peer educator.
Okay.
And of course, this was also a process to select young and inspiring young people, inspiring people within the society to lead. And so peer education was a unique team to belong to. So I was one of those who was
Peer educator under Red Cross.
in the Red Cross. So, and this was the time the HIV/AIDS was, the pandemic came, and in fact, it was time for awareness creation. And so the Irish government engaged the Ghana Red Cross Society to train peer educators for this education. So I think that also opened me a little more after I had completed my senior high school. So I went to Ghana.
Mommy, you mentioned something in relation to volunteerism then and comparing it to now. I'm sure even then it was not Red Cross. It was not only the Red Cross that existed. We had that days that other people also volunteered with. Looking at then and the changes now, what do you think is actually, is it that the NGOs like Red Cross and others have changed the way they work, or is the attitude of the young people? And what
So,
advice? What do you have to say in relation to that?
even at that time, I think we didn't have much NGOs around that time. Um, People worked with some kind of interest, and people did things without getting anything in return. And so that is the difference. Now, if a young person is even going to dig a hole, the person is looking at what am I going to get first? And even it's not that what am I getting first, it's how much am I getting? These are the questions young people ask. And so they forget, maybe they are not taught, but I think they don't look at dealing with something for some time before you gain. They just want immediate gain. And I think that has been the difference. Those days, you were going for meetings and you never even asked. You walk. Yeah, you walk to the meeting.
Mary, do you think, I'm actually stressing
And it
more on
was
this
even
because-
more dangerous then than now. When, you know, Old Hospital. You know Old Hospital?
Yes,
The central.
Central Hospital.
So, I used to walk from Sakasaka. Let me just say, do you know Marco's Hotel?
No.
I don't think you know that. Okay, so you would walk from there in the midst of, there were no so many houses, you know, and walk to Old Hospital. I mean, as a child. And I think now we are not comfortable that our children even
Knowing
walk
that
to.
when you go, they will even give you money.
No, you walk, go and come back.
But Mary, do you think the structure of our NGO system now is encouraging that? Because they have been given. There are situations where I attended a program. I attended a program before, and just the beginning, if we didn't even spend up to an hour, then snacks were given. Then,
So,
like I was saying, they are
yes.
overconfident.
So
I think
everything,
the structure is also making it.
actually everything has changed, and it's I'm not blaming only young people. I think it's everyone around, because it looks like we all want to live in a particular life, in quotes, that we exaggerate a lot. And for me, that is one thing we have done which is not very good for us. If you go for a meeting, you have not spent 1 hour and you have already given
You're
snack.
already
On what
giving
basis are you giving that? These are the
Honestly.
questions you ask yourself. And whether
Then the
the
next
person
minute,
that,
lunch is coming.
so these are the questions that we ask. Of course, we have all built up a system that is not very good. Yeah, so I as I mentioned that I joined the Red Cross. I was in primary school, and let me just say my school educational. I mean the schools I've gone to. I went to Sakasaka Primary C, went to Bishop Junior High, and Ghana Secondary School as my.
Okay. I'm a partner, so I support Amy.
And I went to Tamale College of Education, that then was STATCO. So I taught for about 5 years after my college education before I went to the university. So as I was growing, these meetings also exposed me a lot. And after I finished senior high and was a peer educator, I think we're moving around a lot. I think it's Red Cross I met Awol.
And that was my next question I wanted to ask. But before that, what did you study in school? University level, first degree, and master's level. What did you study?
So at university, I did IDS, Integrated Development Studies.
What campus?
What campus? And then I married before going, actually. I had my first daughter in my first year. And
you married while you were a teacher?
Yeah. I married in 2004, and I went to university in 2005. So I went to the university pregnant. I gave birth in school.
Okay, so you were staying on campus?
Yeah, so then in WA there was no housing in
Yeah.
residents in camp. Also, I was staying in one of the community, one of the areas called um,
Mamaho, the popular
no,
one.
no, not Bamao. At that time, we're not at Bamao, Paguri, those areas. So that was where we were staying. And so my first year, I gave birth, and my final year, I had the second child.
Hmm.
And so after my university in 2009, I just wanted to enroll into my master's program again. And so
How many children now, Mama?
have three. So my third child, I went to an interview for my master's program at ILGS.
With the pregnancy
I
or with the
was
baby?
not a baby, but I think I was in labor then. So, so I think I went for the interview and I was given at ILGS. So we're the first batch to actually start the program at ILGS, and I did local economic development, MSc. So I gave birth, and throughout my school,
Yeah.
I was having children.
So now it's true work that you're no longer and then you're just working. So all the children came during school. But mommy,
Yes.
before I come to you and Alaja Wall story, something I'm very interested in, and I'm sure they're also very interested in that. I want to know because recently, what we have observed is that people say marriage is a barrier to a woman's education. That's mostly some of the things we hear, and a lot of young women are afraid to even think about masters or even think about the next level of education after the degree program. With that experience you had, marrying whilst a teacher, starting school, with pregnancy, giving birth in school, final year having your second, what do you have to say in relation to that young women listening who wants to be like you, but in one way or the other thinking about these things as possible barriers that could prevent them from?
Well, so one thing I would just say is that as a woman, you just need to ask yourself, where do I want to go first? It's about knowing where you want to go that makes you move. So I don't think that marriage should be a barrier to anybody's progress, you know. So I don't see marriage blocking anything. I mean, you can marry, and I don't know why people fear to even, a lot of men fear to even marry empowered women.
Yeah.
In fact, let me say empowered women,
They
educated
don't want
women.
women who wants to do masters. They want women who
That for me, I ask myself, what is the fear? Is it the fear of control or the fear of other things? I mean, all these I say is more of a it's a self-centered thing. It's not about the woman really does this, the woman will do that and all that. But I think in an open society, everybody should be given the chance to progress. And it depends on the relationship you have at home that would minimize the fear or increase the fear. If you are the type of man who would leave everything to your wife to do, as in taking care of kids, paying kids school fees, but because the woman is working, and you think that is the angle to actually drain the woman's resources, then you are losing control. You will lose a lot of control there. So for me, it's just about the woman asking herself, where do I want to go? And where I am going,
then the rest
can I
of the
get there?
information comes, right?
Yeah, because it is you who has to drive it. It's not the man. It's not the marriage. You would have to drive it. So it's just telling you that there's no way you would have a marriage that doesn't have challenges. There are challenges, but it depends on how you moved it.
There is no marriage that doesn't have challenges. It depends on how you move it. And also, in an open society, everyone should be given an opportunity to progress. So whether it is from the man or the woman, one's level of education shouldn't be a restriction to you. It shouldn't be a problem to you. I think what mommy is saying is that we should rather encourage one another to go. This is where I'm going to take a very short break. And like I said, Working with Had Alajawo, and today working with him as co-founder, head of programs and policy. This is a very interesting story. I want to know. I want to see how they did it in the youthful ages, where they went, and some of the fights they had. So I'll be back after this very short break. See you.
Protect your styles with clean and quality printing. Do not let them struggle to see what has been printed in a document. Pinnacle Business Center is the only place you can get quality, durable, and affordable passport pictures, lamination, typing, color, black and white photocopying, 5x7 pictures, graphic design, printing, and many more. As customer service oriented, we shall offer you water to quench your thirst while waiting for the service requested. At Pinnacle Ghana Limited, we also offer the following services: project documentaries, marketing, branding, social media marketing, TV and radio production, repertoire services, advertisement, and many more. Pinnacle Ghana Limited, we are empowering through effective communication. You can also locate us at Alasan Hotel, adjacent Bank of Ghana, or you can contact us on the numbers on the screen. Pinnacle Business Center, you can trust our service.
Welcome back, Mr. The Village Northern Ghana here on Activity TV. My name is Braham Isa. We're in conversation with one of the greatest women from law. She's a role model and also one of the women who has contributed immensely to the development of the region. She's also the co-founder of NORSAC and also government as the head of programs, policy, and campaigns. She's actually a happy to say it's money. Back to the conversation. I mean, like I said, before the break, I'm interested in that relationship. We want to really understand how long, I'm sure before this, you didn't tell me, but I'm sure there was a relationship with Elijah Award before this establishment review from young people with all the battles that we also face, and I want to learn more from that. How fun. Where did it all start?
Okay, so
In that journey, where did you meet him?
well, I think myself and Awal met at Red Cross.
He also say member?
Yeah, he was also a member of Red Cross, and we're both selected as peer educators. And I think Awal was also one person who was very much interested in the meetings and all that. So most often they will identify two key people who could lead. And so myself and Awal stood out mostly, and we were leading the Zone C, which was at Sakasaka Junior High School. And Red Cross had zones, Zone A, B, C, and D. And then we were Zone C. And so Zone C was always at the, I would say, almost at the top all the time, with consistent meetings, having innovations to do things, and all that. So at our time, we could just volunteer to get trees, go to plant trees in communities. And
You were doing more than...
yeah, we're doing more than other zones could do. And because I was also a female, and of course, very few females were there, and so I was always also getting the advantage of doing more other things. And so that was where we met, and consistently we were always moving together.
So is it from Red Cross directly to NORSAC?
Yeah.
Or
so from Red Cross, so at Red Cross, myself and I started building the issue of, because we were doing peer education, we were moving school to school, and then...
You started building education, and acceptance was not complete.
No, I mean, I said we were doing peer education because we're peer educators, and so we were paired. But of course, I was not paired with Awal. I was paired with another person. He was also paired with another. But most often we could move together. He was at Tamasco, I was at Tatco. So he would come and we go to meetings.
So
We would walk
he
from
was in senior high school.
yeah, of course he didn't go to school early, so maybe that. But he would move from Tamasco to Tatco, and we would from Tatco we would walk to Sakasaka to have a meeting and come back to school, you know. And I mean, my first year at Tatco, I got the chance to, I was selected because I think they wanted a female, and I was selected to participate in a HIV/AIDS tour in Malawi. That was 1998.
Okay.
And that was the first time I traveled out of Tamale, actually. I mean, when I say travel, I mean, that was my first time to know Accra. And that was the first time I flew from Tamale to Accra. This time there was this aircraft called CityLink, you know. CityLink was like it was like a bed, you know. So that was the first time. And so in 1998, I went to Malawi.
1998.
Yeah, I
We
went.
had a chance to fly. We thought aircraft were just recent.
Oh no.
That's about
There was CityLink then, and so I went to Accra first time. And of course, this trip was sponsored by UNICEF. And I stayed in Malawi for close to 1 month. And the first time traveling, I was 19 years, yeah. I went to the college at age 18 actually. So I think I was 18 years then. And that was my first travel outside the country, going out of my family, going to stay in a hotel, staying in my room alone, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't that I asked a lot of questions around myself. Recently, I posted a picture, you know. I was in the gym and I posted a picture on my status. People, I'll post it again. People were like, so that was Malawi. And so I stayed there for close to a month. I had to stay with a family for a week. They moved to another town to stay with another family before we came to the hotel to be together. And this was, Malawi was actually leading in terms of the rates in terms of HIV/AIDS rates. And so it was one of the things to learn around how they are doing their education and then come to. One thing I learned there was this man doing a program called Straight Talk. And Straight Talk was getting young people talk around HIV/AIDS, talk around other social issues. So when I came back, I just spoke to Awad and said, look, we can start something like this. And I said, can we just form clubs? And so Awad just said, oh yes, we can form clubs and start giving them education and all that. So that was when we started NORSAT. So we started forming clubs, and the next year, in 1999, UNICEF, well, I think maybe the reports that I brought, they were also very happy around that. And I had a godfather called Mr. Andrews, Jose. He was with UNICEF. So there was another recommendation that I represent young people in Ghana, of course, was UNICEF, in New York. And so in 1999, I traveled to New York again. I stayed there for another month and came back. And that was my second, we ended the first year and we just went into our second year in college. So when I came, the energy level was high and I had Awol around. Awol was the one to also move it. Yeah, because I was just fortunate that he was around, because all these ideas, I wrote reports, shared the reports, and Red Cross is so big to just pick an initiative like that and start implementing. And so when I said, well, we could replicate this, let's form the clubs. And in 1999, we formed about 35 clubs. In schools, we had EP. I did my first
EP.
Yeah, Kalata. I did my first out program in EP Junior. No, that was in Sakasaka. My second program was in EP. So that was where we also had one of the clubs. We had one at 1st November. See how this the Presby, we had them across and we were walking to most of these areas, yes. So
Without being paid.
no, nobody was paying us. We were just doing out of some kind of
Passion.
passion. Yeah, I think that's the word. We had passion doing that. And so it was when I completed, and so at that time we called it Northern Schools ACE Action Clubs. See, it's still not sad. Northern Schools ACE Action Clubs.
Northern Schools ACE Action Club. So it started basically focused on creating awareness in HIV/AIDS.
So that was when NORSAC started. And in fact, I want to commend some of the teachers who supported us. There's one, Madam Dora, I think she's still alive, who was at Presby. In fact, she was one of the most passionate teachers who helped a lot with this club thing. And so in 2000, I completed college, and I also went to Batco in 2000. And so I taught at Nur Islam, Nur Islam, junior high school, from 2000 to 2005 before I went to the university. So after in fact, we had a lot of people who were encouraging us to register these clubs as a CBO organization. I think one of them is Mr. Andrews himself said, well, you can register this as a CBO. And then Madam Grace, she was also at UNICEF, said, you can register this. Then as we were doing, people and organizations were getting interested. And some of them would use us to mobilize things for them. So they would just say, are you ready to mobilize these groups of people? And then we'll come and give you education. So CCFC was one of them. In fact, CRS was one of them, and IBIS, as well as Action Aid. And so, from the Northern Schools ACE Action Club, we decided to say Northern Sector Action on Awareness Center.
And today is NORSAC.
So when we made the name Northern Sector Action on Awareness Center, we expanded the scope just from just HIV/AIDS to sexual reproductive. Sort of capacity building for them and all that. So that was how I got in touch with AWO. And since then, we've not parted.
You have started building an empire. I'm sure this is just one of the beginnings.
Yeah.
There is still a long way to go, and I'm sure to
Yeah.
get there.
So until we die, I don't know. I don't think we can ever part. That is one thing. And
it's an interesting story.
Yes. So that is.
But I want us to look at, because there is no much time. I want us to look at currently the focus of NORSAC.
Yeah. So in fact, NORSAC has grown from being just creating awareness to building people's capacity, I mean individual capacity, and now we are at a stage of building the capacities of organizations, networks, and all that, because we believe that the more people are connected with a common vision and their capacity build, the more we would be able to speak more and be able to get our voices heard. And so NORSAC is growing to be a grant-making organization. And I think we are getting there. Very soon we'll get there. We have already gotten at least 2 projects or programs that is giving us the opportunity to actually practice that. And so that is our vision to actually become a grant-making organization.
Maybe a vision come true. May it be realized very soon, so
Yeah.
that we can all become beneficiaries of that. But mommy, I want us to end. But the story has been very interesting. I'm sure they've learned so much from it. But from that experience, especially with Alajawa, from the point of volunteering to meeting Alajawa, to having NOLSAC, and to having it to this point today, young people are out there, especially the experience with which it happened. And you can see what is happening now. You can see what we are doing and how we're doing things. What advice do you want to give to young
Yes.
people out there?
So for me, I think we as young people, there's one thing we need to always take out of context, and that is you would always hear the rumors of people who are the opposite sex. Like if you are with the opposite sex, it looks like you are definitely doing something aside what your
you're
thoughts
meant to
is,
do.
and so that can easily take you off, and you would forget about your mission or vision. I think when I was moving with my family thought we were dating. You see, his family thought we were dating, and then it was so, it was very funny. And meanwhile, the two of us, none of us even thought of having any relationship. And so, I think having open mind is one thing that can drive you. The passion to do your work is one thing that can drive you. And we need to also reduce perceptions. People are thinking this way. People are saying this. People have said it. Even if you hear it, once you have not gotten there, don't let it work. Because once you hear, oh, I've heard that Hafsa and Awa, they are dating. Oh, you see, even she's married and they are still moving together. That is people's perception. It's far from the reality. What is happening? You don't know because you don't move with us. So for me, I think these are some of the things that we need to take up. And I'm telling you that as an individual, if you don't have a vision, there's no way you can move.
When there is
And I think that is one challenge young people have. Because sometimes you ask them, what do you want to do? Like I told you from the beginning, already my mind was like, a woman must get there. You know, if you empower the woman or give the education to the woman, if once you are thinking that, you are not asked, how will I do that? Even if you are able to get 5 women who look up to you and they grow up, it is something. So that was how I was growing up. And fortunately, my auntie was an educationist, or she's an educationist, and so she was also giving a guidance. And look, all my friends are males. Almost all. I have a very few female friends, and I can count them. They are just in number. But the male friends are outnumbering the female friends. And sometimes I ask myself, could it be an advantage to me growing? And one thing I'll just say to the women there is, you just have to be strong as a woman. Position yourself for anyone coming to even tempt you, feel shy coming to you. And I think that is how you should live. People tell me these days and say, the way you were living, nobody could even come to tell you that they wanted you as a girlfriend. Because I think I positioned myself in such a way that people were shy to even say it if they wanted to, not to even abuse me. And they were very careful with me.
You created that boundary.
Exactly. So for me, let's not already have the fear. Your daughter is going out there and you are already, oh, as my daughter is going, she may have sex, she may do this. No. Let's allow them. Sometimes the space you give them, allow them to reflect and make choices. But sometimes we just over-restrict them. And when we over-restrict them, when they get the chance, that is where they run. So for me, that is another statement for parents out there. Let's give them the opportunity to explore. They just need guide. Look, my auntie could allow me to go out. But of course, she'll tell me that, look, 8 o'clock, you must come back. She just knew I was going to our house. But she would just say, look, 8 o'clock, and 8 o'clock, I'll be back. So there was also that trust. So it's not about go and come at 3 and you come at 5. So, and as young people, that is the trust we need to build with our parents. When your parents say, please, if you go, come back at this time, be there. And these are some of I think these are the small, small things we have left. And then we have broken trust, parents and their children, no trust, friends, no trust, even you and your family, no trust. That makes it so difficult for people to move. Okay. Yeah, but if you build the trust around, people know where you are going, people know what you are doing, people know the direction they leave you. And I think this can actually help parents and their kids as well.
Protect your styles with clean and quality printing. Do not let them struggle to see what has been printed in a document. Pinnacle Business Center is the only place you can get quality, durable, and affordable passport pictures, lamination, typing, color, black and white photocopying, 5x7 pictures, graphic design, printing, and many more. As customer service oriented, we shall offer you water to quench your thirst while waiting for the service requested. At Pinnacle Ghana Limited, we also offer the following services: project documentaries, marketing, branding, social media marketing, TV and radio production, repertoire services, advertisement, and many more. Pinnacle Ghana Limited, we are empowering through effective communication. You can also locate us at Alasan Hotel, adjacent Bank of Ghana, or you can contact us on the numbers on the screen. Pinnacle Business Center, you can trust our service.